Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Gaming with me, Tony Mo. Welcome back to Fallout 4 and another custom weapons spotlight. Today we're going to be taking a look at my sniper rifle known as the Infinibleed. And you will find out in just a moment why I've decided to call it that. Also kind of a spin on Infinity Blade. I don't really know. I just thought it sounded good. You know, it didn't have to make too much sense. It just sounded good. It's not like the sniper rifle makes people bleed for infinity. That'd be way too awesome, and it would probably make it much more effective than it is. But just thought it was a cool name. So let's go ahead and check this thing out. You can see that I am running with the suppressor, but let's go ahead and head over to the workbench here and take a look at all of its modifications and goodness. So you'll see that I am running the 50 caliber receiver, which is going to be the highest damage receiver in the game for sniper rifles, but it does mean that you will have to scrounge up or pay for 50 caliber ammo. You're also going to get improved rate of fire, and of course, as I said, exceptional damage. Now, one of the things to note with sniper rifles as a whole in this game is that probably the smartest thing to do is to find a legendary sniper rifle that does bonus direct damage. Because there are certain enemy types in the game that sniper rifles just don't do a lot of damage against. The Brotherhood of Steel is one of them. Super mutants at times can be one of them. Some of these enemy types just have exceptional armor, and even the 50 cal can't seem to penetrate them. It kind of is a bit odd. You know, I almost thought that putting on a 50 caliber receiver would have made it more armor piercing, but that's not the case, and considering there are no special ammo types for any of the weapons in the game, I found that to be a bit disappointing. Now imagine on normal or even hard difficulty, your sniper rifles are probably going to be a little bit more effective than anybody who's playing on very hard or survival. For me on survival mode, it just doesn't hit hard enough when it comes to those armored enemies. But when we start talking about some of the enemies with more vulnerable soft spots, even Mirror-Lurk headshots, raiders, and ghouls, this thing does some serious freaking damage. And that's really the situations I use it for, long-range engagements against those less armored enemy types. So 50 cal all day. We're running the long ported barrel, which is the best barrel you can possibly put on the thing. Of course, if you wanted to start dropping down to the short barrel for whatever reason, you could do that. You will note, though, that the only difference between the long barrel and then moving up to the long light and the long ported is that it's going to continuously reduce your hipfire accuracy, and you're going to gain... You know, the weird thing is it says that you have superior range and sighted accuracy, and then if we go down to long ported, you have superior recoil range and sighted accuracy, but you'll notice it's not actually affecting the stats in any way. I did notice a difference in recoil with the long ported barrel, but it seems that all of the other stats very much stay the same. You are making the rifle, of course, lighter if you run the long light barrel, and the ported barrel is going to bring it back up to its normal weight that you would have running the long barrel. So I thought that was kind of odd, like they maybe didn't consider what was happening with the statistics there, but it is a noticeable leap in performance when it comes to follow-up shots with the recoil, so I definitely recommend the long ported barrel. Moving down, we got the marksman stock. Now, the cool thing about the full stock in the marksman stock, to me, is that you can kind of have two different sniper rifles altogether, right? The full stock is very much a retro wooden stock. We've got some, you know, sort of white tape on the end, just give it a nice little aesthetic. I dig this stock, and really, again, the only thing that you're seeing happen here is that you're actually getting a lighter stock, you're decreasing the value of the weapon, and you're having slightly more recoil, and also you're going to have a little bit less accuracy with scopes, but it doesn't actually affect the statistics of the weapon. And since part of the combat system, especially when VATS, is fueled by those statistics, you have nothing to worry about. So, you know, kind of make it your preference. I am running the marksman stock. I like the sort of synthetic stock appearance that it gives it. Moving on down, I'm running the medium quick eject magazine purely for visuals. I hate the idea of an almost large banana type magazine in a sniper rifle. To me, it's like, alright, the sniper rifle is supposed to be, you know, precision shots. If I end up having to fire off more than 10 rounds, then I'm probably in a rough situation. So I'm okay with the medium quick eject, no reason to put on the large one. And frankly, it would just be a waste of oil and adhesive if I actually built that. Scope options here, I have messed around with just about every available scope option for the sniper rifle. I've done the long recon, I've done the short recon, I've done the night vision. It's going to depend on your playstyle, but the one thing that I found that I didn't like was I didn't like the appearance of the long recon scopes. They're very high tech, and to me they don't make sense on top of a, you know, sort of modern day sniper rifle like this. So for those reasons alone, I have chosen to not go with that scope. I know it's silly, right? Seems ridiculous, but that's just me. The long scope does absolutely fine for me. And you notice that it has the exact same accuracy rating as the long recon scope. Now, if you are somebody who perhaps takes like the nighttime person perk, you like playing the game at night, a night vision scope might be for you. You're going to have night vision, and you're going to have all of the wonderful accuracy that you get from the long scope. So 100% player choice there. Last and definitely not least, I'm currently running a suppressor on this. I have been putting points into my stealth and suppressor damage perks, meaning that having a suppressor and being able to do stealth attacks allows me to do, like, right now I think 3.6 additional bonus damage, and that's a pretty beefy amount, so I'm really stoked about that. Let's take a quick look and actually talk about the sniper rifle's legendary stat. Kind of forgot about the beginning of this, so apologies, but you guys have been able to see it on screen. As I said it, I call it the Infinibleed because targets bleed for 25 points of additional damage. Not really a huge stat, but a stat that I feel is a lot of fun. I like the idea of sort of firing and forgetting on enemies where I know I'm just going to get just within their health. It saves me the trouble of firing an additional shot in something like VATS, and I can just let them bleed out while moving on to another enemy. This has actually become a useful tool and tactic more times than I thought it would, so I've held on to this thing. That being said, I am in the future looking to drop this for a sniper rifle that probably just does double damage or 25% damage or some sort of additional bonus damage, because I feel like that would be the better choice, especially when dealing with armored targets, which is something that I'm running into a lot now that I'm in the, you know, high 30s level, starting to push towards the edge of the map. Let's talk a little bit more about sniper rifles, though, before we go ahead and call it quits here as a whole. Like I said, I feel that... You know, we, on the Pipcast, we talked a lot about how Fallout New Vegas did a good job with the multiple ammunition types. You had armor piercing, hollow point, all those different types. They did different types of damage in different situations. And in a way, what seemed like it would be the alternate choice in Fallout 4 was the ability to swap out your receivers for your weapons, to change the amount of damage that a weapon does by changing the caliber of ammunition that that weapon fires. But, as I said in the beginning, you know, you swap to the 50 cal, yes, you have an immediate damage increase, but again, you're not seeing any benefits against armored targets. Like, honestly, shooting this sniper rifle at people in power armor is like the most ineffective thing you can do. And I find that really, really frustrating. At this point in the game, at level, you know, almost 40, the amount of time that I've spent to level up weapons like this, I should be seeing direct benefits to the damage they do against those types of targets. Right now, for me, honestly, I still struggle with power armor targets. They are a pain in the butt. You know, I end up expending an extremely large amount of ammunition or using heavy weapons like the missile launcher or the Fat Man, and that just seems a bit absurd. You know, I know there's always been an issue with Bethesda games where you get to that certain level and you kind of have that overpowered feel, but playing on the harder difficulty mode, you know, I feel that that doesn't happen, but we do need to see some sort of balance. When I put a 50 caliber receiver on a sniper rifle, it should be able to penetrate the armor of someone in power armor, and we should be able to see it do that increased damage that I thought it was going to do, because frankly, it's like, it's just not there, and that's really genuinely frustrating for me. So, the sniper rifles, I think, just not really handled, you know, I don't know. I think it comes down to, as a whole, the weapon modding system is a really fantastic idea. I love the way it's been implemented in the game, but it's not perfect, and that's okay. I'm just pointing out some of the issues I have with it that I've encountered late game dealing with armored targets. It can be really, really frustrating at times. But, like I said, there are times where you are dealing with, you know, normal enemies, humans, things of that nature, and there's absolutely no problem, you know, dropping them with something like the Infinibleed, and it does exceptional damage. So maybe that was just the way Bethesda wanted to build things. Maybe that's why Fat Man nukes and missiles are so much more abundant than they've ever been, because they want to see you treat the power armor enemies like enemies in tank armor. I know, frankly, when I'm wearing power armor, there is that sense, I guess you could say, that I am a very powerful character, and that, you know, I need to be dealt with a higher level of firepower than small arms. So, my thoughts as a whole, I would definitely like to hear how sniper rifles have been treating you guys, especially depending on the difficulty mode that you've been playing on. If you have any legendary sniper rifle builds that you are exceptionally fond of, feel free to share them down in the comment section below. Always love to hear what you guys are stumbling upon. Some of you guys had some really awesome shotguns when we talked about the terrible shotgun. Definitely want to hear what you guys are running with sniper rifles. I've got a bunch more of these actually planned. I finished the main story yesterday, so I may be starting a second game, doing like a full charisma build just for kicks, and I'm sure I'm going to find a whole horde of custom weapons to talk about. So this is a series that is going to continue into the inevitable future for Fallout and hopefully into future Bethesda games. You guys seem to like it. It's doing really well, and I really enjoy messing about, sharing my custom weapon creations and legendary weapon stats with you guys. If you have any other questions for me, feel free to leave them down in the comment section below, and I will see you in the wasteland, my friends.
Playing games with me, huh?